And here we go, game number 2. Picks and bans for SK Telecom. K versus Team NB.
Wow.
The way these guys are playing, they are indeed a special K.
They are the special K of the day.
Cassidy banned, really?
Yeah. Well, it's surprising too. He's K. Maybe they're just banning him. Team K bans Cassidy. But yeah, Cassidy nerfs have really hurt that champion.
Yeah, we've heard, from a lot of people just how Cassidy just is not a very desirable pick anymore.
No, he's not. And the reason mostly is because they took away first off, his Q got nerfed pretty hard in terms of damage, but also his MR per level nerfs really hurt him because he was pretty darn tanky when he built something like a Rod of Ages for HP, and of course the MR that he had inherently really magnified that HP, made it more valuable.
Right.
And now he kind of, without that MR per level, he can pretty much just get blown up by a lot of AP carries, and that's why he's not quite as good as he was before. And the Lucian ban actually coming down for SKTK. So Piglet not very comfortable on that champion apparently. Team NB taking out the Annie. That Mandu must be an Annie master right now. They did prioritize by taking it first pick last game, but this leaves them in an interesting situation where they will have to leave potentially that Olaf up or the Syndra.
Yeah, and we also talked about the possibility of Jinx getting picked up as well. There's the Elise. Yeah, so what's the first pick going to be? And there's the Olaf locked in immediately. Now, why don't you explain a little bit to the fans why Jungle Olaf is just so scary right now?
The undertow buffs really helped him out again. And when we look at Olaf in general, of course, a lot of you remember back to early in Season 3 when he was in total terror.
Right.
And he got nerfed pretty hard, but now with the undertow being brought back up in terms of the CC potential on that ability, he's in a really good place right now. His jungle clear is extremely fast when you max undertow, and his ganking presence is right back up there where it used to be.
Brings you back to the days of good old Crazy Roggen, and he just joined the military, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's no longer playing on Zenix Storm. He did, in fact, go to do his military service.
He's sitting in the barracks right now watching this going, no, my moment!
Yeah, the other big increase on him was the early attack speed increase to Vicious Strikes as well. So you can get only a single point in that right now with a 40% attack speed bonus, and that brings him up to, above where a level 2 would have been previously. So that just increases his clear speed even further. So he's very dangerous right now, very dangerous. You usually see him start with a couple of Doran's Blades and then move into Ancient Golem from there.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Nasus pickup and the Thresh for Team NB. And back over to the SK Telecom side, Lulu grabbed once again by Mandu.
Well, the thing about Lulu and Olaf has always been with his CC reduction and his Ghost, it allows him to get into team fights very rapidly, and so with Wild Growth, there's nothing you can do to stop him from getting right in the middle of your team for a Wild Growth target.
And the thing is you can even whimsy him and make him run even faster. Like, you can actually just turn Olaf into this bearded bullet train going into the enemy team.
Well, appropriate for SK Telecom T1K. They're agonizing a lot over this, and Rumble actually being picked up. This is not an SK Telecom pick typically.
Yeah.
This is very new. However, they did get kind of brutalized by Chunju, who's now known as Accord, Samsung Blue's top laner, when he played Rumble against them in the WCG qualifiers where they lost 0-2. So they may have some renewed faith in this pick. They also saw some teams like Royal and pull it out at Worlds and be very successful with that as well.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting too, and I mean it's yet another vehicle to allow Olaf to get into the back lines too. The slow from Equalizer is going to be pretty potent for that. So yeah, I feel like, and I mean it's like the Olaf, the bearded bullet train continues here. I mean the Equalizer laying down the tracks.
That's right. And these picks also really...
Jace.
This is not a good pick here. The reason why is that Rumble and Olaf really punished these Pope compositions that are coming in.
What? I would be happy, but confused.
Yeah, no, we're not going to see that.
Oh, well.
But because of the CC immunity, basically, that Olaf has and the long-range engage that Rumble has...
Are we going to see a mid-Rumble and a top Lulu?
It makes the poke compositions really quite dangerous to play. So maybe not the best idea. It's going to be hard to get out even with the acceleration gate. And it might be a top Lulu, yes.
I think, it very well could be. And I mean, I think SK Telecom, maybe trying to flex their muscles a little bit here in game
Well,
number 2, but we have seen some AD less compositions popping in from time to time.
Yeah, there we go. No, it's not going to be that.
Right.
In fact, Piglet will be going for the Ezreal pickup again.
Yeah.
Comfort champion for him. Wow, Corki actually,
Corki,
after
really?
the Corki nerfs, this is a bit of a surprise. Most AD carry players these days are not really convinced by the Corki pickup, but he does have a lot of that long-range potential to complement Rumble.
True.
He also has the Gatling gun for the armor shred, which will magnify the damage that Zed is doing.
Yep,
as
Zed
well
and
as
Olaf,
Olaf.
man. They're going to just get into the back line and wreck people this game.
So they
Should
do
be
have,
pretty cool.
yeah, the Kennen pickup too for the secondary engage. That's not going to be really effective against the composition that SKTK is running right here. Just because, of course, Olaf again with that immunity and Rumble able to do damage from well outside of the slicing Maelstrom range.
Right.
And now the Vayne. This is a very strange team composition coming out of NB.
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
not a lot of synergy right here. They may have sort of picked themselves into a corner, realizing that they can't go for a full poke composition with Caitlyn because the engage range is too far for SKTK.
Right.
And now they're just kind of having to mix it up a little bit. It's going to come down a lot to how well they can protect Elf here in the mid lane with that Jace.
Yeah, I mean, they can kind of get some picks here, and I mean, Jace and Vayne do make a pretty powerful duelist combo. You've got Nasus to kind of run in and hit Wither on whoever's trying to get into the back lines, but that's not going to really help against Olaf at all. So, I mean, it's, I don't know.
Team NB's hope right here is that they can engineer some sort of 3-1-1 split and split with Kennen and Vayne, and then use Nasus to wave clear with Jace to take down turrets and Thresh for the disengage. But
Yeah.
that's hard to pull off, Doa.
I mean, I suppose you've also got the acceleration gate from Jace as well for part of that engage too, but it's going to be a tough game for Team NB. SK Telecom feeling pretty confident, I think, going into this one. In the mid lane, Faker gets to play Zed. That's going to make him feel pretty confident, I think.
And Zed, he really only received changes, and it's the change to where his shadow lands on his ultimate,
Yeah.
which will take some retraining for players, but shouldn't be that big of a nerf in the long run.
Right. Well, finally it's support. Mondu on Lulu once again. I love it. 2 games, 2 Lulus already in Champions Winter, and My Little Pony on Thresh. My Little Pony. The one, the only. All right, guys, here we go. A chance for redemption for Team NB and Long Panda. Faker, though, looking unimpressed, ready to deliver the killing blow to perhaps the weakest team in Group A.
I'm very skeptical about the Elise ban over the Olaf ban.
Well, we'll see what happens, guys. Game number 2. Let's get into it. A scene from Faker's vacation in Antarctica during the break.
That's where he goes.
He's kind of wandered
his
around.
fortress of solitude is down
That's
there.
right. That's right. He's got one right next to Superman. They talk about how powerful they are. Like, we're sure better than all those mortals, huh?
Well, Team NB clearly having a lot more reservations about face-checking brushes this game after giving up first blood to Faker.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Immediately in game 1 of this series.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
We'll see what they can do. Oh, they do grab Faker, though. Faker, oh, the shock blast misses. It might have been a little bit closer, but weren't quite able to capitalize on that.
There's some really interesting level 1s going on right here in this series
Yeah.
so far. A lot of just dancing around the mid lane and trying to get an edge. And Team NB has...
Mondu, the flash hook! They grab Piglet, but the cleanse immediately is going to be no first blood. Oh, the flash hook! Never mind! First blood does go to ASD and Team NB. Oh boy.
And
Little bit of
remember
revenge.
that ASD had those insane Vayne mechanics that you were casting in the qualifiers,
Yeah,
Noah,
those were
with
incredible,
Chobra.
man.
And so this is a very comfort champion for him. He is going to be able to go back and get a long sword immediately. It looks like they will be considering this 2v1 up in the top lane.
It's going to be a pretty good start for ASD, yeah.
Okay, well, the thing about this is that Team NV did not get any wards up in the jungle of SKTK. So even though the first blood was given up, they're not going to have a good idea about the jungle route coming out of Bengi right here. Meanwhile, we do see SKT knowing exactly where Minjae is going to be, starting at that red buff.
I'm really, really curious to see how this jungle Olaf is going to go. I mean, we've heard so much of it from the Korean scene. And we saw the ban in game number 1. Game 2, it sneaks through, and Bengi gets a chance to show everybody what's up.
Oh, and they guessed incorrectly right here. They thought Olaf might start red. That's some wasted time from Minjae. In the meantime, Bengi going to pick up his second buff a lot faster. So Nasus will be a little bit delayed right here. They had My Little Pony coming in just in case somebody happened to be there, but no one's there, and the 2v1 will be going down in this lane.
Now, the poke from Elf is going to maybe help him out in terms of laning against a champion like Zed, played by Faker here. We'll see how it works out, but for now, he's got a little bit of an edge, it seems like. That assist giving him a tiny bit of extra gold to start off with, too.
Yeah, but with the Shuriken and Living Shadow, you can farm safely with Zed from range, so it's not as good as it would be against some other champions. We are going into a little bit of a pause right here.
Yep. See what's up.
Yeah, SK Telecom, you know, they're really going to be looking for those 5v5 team fights these games. They do have a lot of early dragon potential here as soon as Corki hits 6 and Rumble hits 6. They've got the rockets to spam. They have they're more dependent, Corki, of course, more dependent on those levels, at least in the early game, because you want those rockets in order to actually be able to take down objectives, and that matters a lot more than the items because you're doing magic damage a lot of the time early on with Phosphorus Bomb and rockets. So, going to be a very powerful early Dragon composition, an early 5v5 composition from SK Telecom. So we'll probably see pre-10-minute Dragon attempt right here, particularly because they have their duo lane on the bottom side of the map in a 2v1.
Baron, sort of. It's somebody wearing Baron as sort of like a little buddy in a chest holder thing. Like, it's like a baby Baron. And some excited Korean fans. This place is pretty packed, just like it was last year. Good to be back in Busan. And we're just here for the weekend, guys. I know a lot of people have been wondering. The matches from here on out are all going to be in the Yongsan studio, just like usual.
In Seoul.
In Seoul, that's right.
Well, Doa, this team composition from Team NB is really all over the map. There's not, besides the fact that they may be able to 3-1-1 push, the team fighting potential of this is kind of disastrous. And especially with the Corki pickup, Nasus is actually not going to be able to do a lot because effectively you have a couple of AD casters in Zed and Corki, and they're not as reliant on those auto attacks.
Yeah.
And so Wither's not going to be as useful as it is against some other AD carries here. So really, I have a feeling that this is NB relying on comfort champions in which they will be good in the laning phase.
Yeah.
And as opposed to a real team fight composition here that's going to have high level of synergy because there isn't one. Meanwhile, SK Telecom has a hell of a lot of synergy for the team fights in the late game.
Well, SK Telecom is definitely one of those types of teams, too, where it's like, you know, give them an inch and they take a mile. When we saw at the World Championships, too, when they find themselves with a tiny bit of an advantage, they really, really know how to close. They know how to make that into a lot more than a lot of other teams can.
And Piglet and Mandu already having pushed up the turret here in the bot lane. We see the same thing happening, but Bengi actually choosing to do a lot of jungle farming instead. They do have the eyes on him right now. They have that ward still in the Wraith Rush, so that'll be a free set of Wraiths for him as he continues just to take as much gold and XP as he can.
You know, and it does make you wonder a little bit about the prospect of carry junglers in Season 4, you know, where Riot is saying they want to give them more gold, they want to give them more items. Well, then you've got this Olaf coming in that could be potentially terrifying in the late game with proper items. And while we're still obviously on the Season 3 patch right now, I kind of feel like it's preparation, you know?
It is.
As good as Olaf is now, he's going to be even better in Season 4.
It is. And what's so strange about this, and as we see Bengi coming from behind here, looking to make a play from the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, coming into that top lane right now. ASD may be in a little bit of trouble. Impact coming in. ASD trying to flee to the river. There's the flash used. The flay after the flash from My Little Pony. But oh no, My Little Pony getting very, very low. And there's the first kill for SK Telecom. That one picked up by Impact.
And you may be wondering why the Lantern went down right there. They were actually trying to scare off SK Telecom by making them think that Nasus was coming in right there. However, due to the timing of when he left that bot lane, it would have been very unlikely for him to be there, even though they didn't have great wards to see his presence. But that was a little bit of a mind game that backfired, but it was a little bit desperate because as soon as Impact started going in, they suspected that Bengi was right there to back him up. And so they tried to scare him away because they knew that's probably the only way they would have gotten out of that situation without dying.
And look at this already, that bottom lane turret getting really, really low. And Long Panda coming in to try to defend that, but taking a lot of damage himself as he does it. And it looks like SK Telecom on the way to a pretty fast first turret. Elf coming back in the mid lane, putting a little bit of damage onto Faker, but like you said, the farming hasn't been a problem. In fact, Faker up by 13 right now.
And now that he got the early Vamp Scepter as well, he's got really good sustain with that Doran's Shield, and first tower going down well in advance. The top tower for SK Telecom is still nearly at full health.
Yeah, that was Coma, the SK Telecom coach on the screen for a moment, guys.
And there we go.
Early dragon. Yeah.
Early dragon, or even earlier than we thought, but that's a result of that tower going down so very quickly.
Right. Normally you see these Rumble teams wait until they have the equalizer for that great Baron control, but SK Telecom already has enough lead to just go for it.
Well, and the other thing too is that because they had just pushed out that top lane, look at the gank timing that came in right there. The comm on this team is just incredible. Piglet and Mondu saying, we got the tower, we got the tower. Bengi pathing up into that top lane, getting the kill, shoving out the wave, giving Impact a time to clear out, to shove out. And since that turret, again, is still probably at about, it's at 90%.
Oh, they do grab Impact. Can he get away? Yeah, no problem there.
That allowed the great play call to be made for basically an uncontested dragon, and still not any more turret damage. SK Telecom is totally dominating this early game.
Yeah. I mean, this is just what SK Telecom does. They just put on a clinic with really whatever style they decide to do that game, you know?
Well, we actually have triple Doran's Blades going down on Bengi right here, so he's taking that early global advantage that they got off the 6-minute Dragon and turning it into even more early game presence. Now, we can compare that with Elf, who's gone for the Tear of the Goddess first, but that's not going to offer him any combat stats right now, and Bengi is going to maul him in that mid lane if he can get an angle.
Yeah, we'll see. Triple Dorans, man.
This is really scary. I mean, he can solo Minjay so easily right now.
Yeah.
Very smart play. They don't see the ward in the brush right there, even with the vision ward going down.
Oh wow.
Dangerous, dangerous. No ghost, however, from Olaf.
Here we go. Bengi just shows himself now. Mandu coming down. They're gonna go ahead and just try to pull that red buff back.
Too dangerous.
Yeah, you see, almost had the kill with the undertow. Oh man, and a miss from Pony. If he would have caught Mandu, that could have been a very different story.
That was some very good instincts from Team NB right there, though, to realize that the buff stealing, the counter jungling might be coming into play, considering how strong this Olaf is now in the early game. So a good read by NB to secure their buff and to make sure that SK Telecom couldn't completely run away with this game. But Impact now taking the blue. This is insane aggression that we're seeing from SKTK.
Yeah. And they can do it. I mean, essentially they can be lane bullies across the map right now.
And at the very least, what this is doing, however, is it's forcing...
Bengi coming in. He's going in onto ASD, 1v2ing, dodges the play. Condemn pushes Olaf away.
They're just trying to push their advantage right now, shove these guys out of lane, take the top lane turret as well. And as I was saying, what this is doing is it is actually forcing Elf out of lane right here, which is just increasing Faker's CS lead.
Long Panda just going right through Impact. Getting away there. And Elf and Faker have been, you know, largely left alone in this mid lane. And so far, it's just allowed Faker to get a nice little CS lead. Waiting for that moment when Faker comes alive.
They've already done a great job of zoning out right here, and you can see that normally we see Corky's pick up the Phage first, but getting a Sheen first this time just so he can take down these turrets even faster, be a little bit more of a high damage bully. He knows he has that edge already.
Well, this is what makes SK Telecom so scary, right? Is because one game they can be playing like a pick comp, a team fighting comp. The next game they can be playing a heavy, fast, objective pushing comp. Like, these guys really have become one of the most diverse teams in the Korean scene.
Well, that was the question coming in tonight, right? But Bengi, this is a new style of jungle that we're seeing from Bengi that we really haven't seen before. It's extremely different to how he played at Worlds. And look at that Long Panda.
Long Panda has to pop that ultimate, does get the stun down onto Impact, but Impact chasing. He does not have Equalizer available, just used it.
Yeah, he used it to start that.
Right.
But he will get some free farm off this and force Long Panda back to base. But yeah, this style of jungling from Bengi is just completely new. He's gone for that high damage tonight. He's gone for that early game gank presence, and now he's counter jungling very heavily. This is not the kind of play that we're used to seeing from him at all. Yes, he usually has a lot of lane presence, but he translates that again into the mobility boots, into the consumables, into the oracles, into the wards.
Right.
But now, none of that really. First game Elise, he goes for that spell pen, magic pen as fast as possible. This game, just maxing out some Doran's Blades and going for the Ninja Tabby, the level 2 boots. He's going really all in order to duel in the jungle. I mean, this is just an entirely new Bengi, and it's really a testament to his skill to change this much as the meta shifts around him. A good read here, really impressive.
Well, it's a really smart move by SK Telecom, you know, to control it like that, to give Bengi that opportunity to move through the jungle and kind of farm as much as he wants, get that aggressive start.
Yeah, it's good. It's very impressive for Bengi to change his instincts this quickly, and also for Koma, their coach, to recognize what's powerful and to be able to read this and translate it to his players as well.
They're very adaptable. We've seen that before. And now this mid turret under some threat. Bengi able to zone quite well. And there's really nothing that Team NB can do to save that turret. And now it's a 3-0 lead, turret-wise for SK Telecom K.
No, there's not. And with the Ninja Tabby so early as well, it allows them to take down turrets faster because it really eliminates Elf and ASD's ability to deal damage to him while he's zoning them out of turret range.
Yeah.
So just, I mean, solid decision-making from Bengi this game in terms of his itemization.
Yeah. Well, the more Doran's Blades, the merrier, I guess. Lee Sin's jealous. He's like, well, I can carry that many blades. Some of them in my boots.
Master Yi, got to get some sword boots on, man.
Master Yi, yep.
And Faker already completing his Blade of the Ruined King by 12 minutes right here. An impressive 124 CS at this stage. Seems hardly bothered at all by the difference between his melee attacks and the long range of Jace. Not really able to punish him whatsoever. And here we go for the second dragon.
Now the killing begins. Well, Faker's going to stand on top of the ward first, but they will still be able to probably pick up the second dragon.
There's no way that NB can really fight this unless they get some solid poke down from Jace first.
They'd have to have kind of a crazy engage. Living Shadow allows Faker to dodge.
This is really not a good idea.
Oh, here we go. Bengi coming in. Oh, this is that undertow. The Lantern does get Team NB out of harm's way.
Team NB really doesn't want to do this.
Yeah. Well, do you think they feel like they have to? I mean, they've got this pressure where they're already behind. Do they go for it? And they actually, so far, have managed to scare SK Telecom away.
Pretty impressive considering there wasn't that much poke that went down. A little bit onto Bengi right there, but some cautious play here. And they're trying to shove the mid lane to make him respond.
Oh, they grab Mondu over the wall. Is he going to go down? There's a flash getting away. Gets condemned away. Equalizer. Traffic some people. Olaf coming in with that ultimate. Looks like an old Nintendo boss. Flashing red. Long Panda a little bit low. They do take down Ninja. ASD already dead as well. A double kill comes in for Impact. Elf a bit low. Valkyrie coming in, but it looks like Piglet just can't get quite close enough. Baker really wants it. But the acceleration gate going to deny that ace from SK Telecom.
And that is exactly why you don't want to do that, Doa. This is a team that is built around these kind of early game fights. As you can see, the Equalizer doing tremendous damage. Long Panda can't quite get in there with the slicing Maelstrom from the side. They get some of the procs down, but just not enough to get any of the stuns.
And Piglet takes out that turret.
Faker continuing to put pressure on. Now they opted for the tier 2 turret instead of the dragon. Probably a better idea if they want to end this game just a little bit faster. Right. Gives them that map pressure, gives them that map presence. However, they will probably have to give up this dragon in response.
Yep. Well.
So again, yeah, you're looking at not a lot of combat stats onto Elf because he did go for that tier first. And just the insane base damage of the abilities like Equalizer, like the rockets coming out of Gorky.
Ooh, that was nearly stolen.
Cute little Mandu trick right there, but not going to outdamage Smite with the Glitter Lance.
Every once in a while you get lucky, you know.
So this is a bit interesting too. Impact going for the fast Liandry's Torment. This is actually very similar to what Royal Club likes to do. Have that fast glass cannon rumble in order to win team fights very hard and maximize your damage early on. So we saw a very similar composition to this actually at Worlds, the Rumble Zed combo coming out of Royal Club, and they did a number on OMG in the quarterfinals with this, just because the burst in the early game and in the mid game was so high when you have the Liandry's early and when you have this Zed with Blade of the Ruined King that you can pretty much end team fights instantly.
Yeah. Well, it's really been cool, too, to see the Korean team starting to pick up a lot of things from other regions. I feel like World had a really positive impact in terms of, like, bringing in some more variety, some new blood as far as strategy goes into some of the other scenes, and it's only going to get better. I mean, Season 4 is just going to turn everything on its head.
Yeah, definitely. And we also, of course, are seeing the Korean flavor. Of course, this return of Olaf Jungle is the Korean special right now.
Oh, yeah. The bearded bullet train.
The bearded bullet train.
I like it.
Well, they're coming up mid to take advantage of this little push right here. They do have a sizable 7K gold lead.
Yeah, you still need to be a little bit careful engaging under turret like this. I mean, this is a situation where it really does test a lot of newer teams' resolve. You know, how deep do they want to dive? Do they want to go crazy with this siege? But SK Telecom has got
Jace is
plenty
still
of experience.
Effectively worthless right now, too. He doesn't even have the Manamune yet. So not going to be dealing with a lot.
Turret.
And there we go, the turret already going down. Of course, the Trinity Force finished onto Piglet as well.
They may decide to go in on this. Piglet bouncing ahead with a little bit of damage from that Gatling gun. Long Panda having to walk all the way back. And now the pressure onto this inhibitor turret coming in from SK Telecom. And there's the death bar going out on Minjay. Evaporated Nasus. Who evaporates Nasus? Goodbye, My Little Pony. He went the way of the dodo. Extinct pony breeds. And Bengi running away this time. The bull train does have to return. Another kill for Faker down on the Long Panda. And they're going to get this inhibitor turret. Low health overall for SK Telecom, but a big, big lead. And this is going to be an easy inhibitor for them.
Yeah, 17 minutes into this game, 8-1 as our observer is showing us, and 10K gold up. And this is the power of this composition, Doa.
Yeah.
It is very dangerous, and it's good. It hits this massive power spike at this point in the game. And when you're already that far ahead, when you get these items so fast, it's nearly unstoppable. So check this out. Minjay just gets blown up by Faker right here.
Insane.
Little help from his team, and a great equalizer from Impact coming in. Mitigates any kind of turret defense that they could have had. Elf is just going to get chased down from the side right here. Not a lot. Long Panda does a good job of setting up the zone, but gets destroyed by Faker coming in from the flank. And at this point, there's nobody who has enough health in order to deal with this. And Elf just simply isn't doing any damage with the items that he has. Not going to be able to stop the 5-man press onto the inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, that tier nerf just hurt Jace so much. I feel like we still need to see some more changes come in before Jace is really going to be a big, big top pick. We thought, you know, with the return of the Siege comps that he'd pop up in mid lane a little bit, and he has, but, you know, we're seeing that you really need to have a strong, strong early game to do well with him.
And look what Bengi's done. He's actually picked up Shirelias as they go in.
That's right, My Little Pony very well, or very low rather, Minjay at about half health. They are going to continue to try to push this against SK Telecom.
All SK Telecom needs to do is keep them here. So they are happy just doing this poke. And there's the Shirelias of the Equalizer.
The bearded bull train coming in onto the slowed members, and SK Telecom. Faker picks up that first kill. ASD goes out, triple kill already for Faker. Piglet grabs one as well. Elf trying to escape the last man standing, running through that acceleration gate. Impact thinking about it, doesn't have flash available.
And they're coming in from a flank from above. At least Faker is. We see Bengi now moving to push the turret, so they're reallocating their resources. It's not worth it to chase Elf. They should just shove the lanes right now.
Yeah, but Piglet wants it, man. He's so bloodthirsty, but I feel like they do need to turn it around. Yeah,
finally they're going to go after that blue buff, and we do see Impact going up to help his jungler push that, and he's going to recall between the turrets. Not anything that they can do to stop him at this point.
Yep. The great Jace escape. Nicely done.
Jace Chase.
Jace Chase, 2013, Tucson.
Well, Doa, I mean, not much can be said at this point. This
Yeah.
is an absolute destruction of Team NB by SK Telecom.
Yeah, it's just another situation where you see SK Telecom really, really outplaying their opponents. Pony, My Little Pony, trying to flay away. Stomp 2 times for you're dead. Oh, he does actually get away. Long Panda, the box helping out a little bit there. Bengi a little bit trapped. Never mind, maybe I spoke too soon here. Bengi coming in to try to get that kill. Gets taken down, a double kill for Elf now. Faker lurking in the bushes, but also lurking in a ward.
Yeah, just dodging backward right there. And I want to talk about Bengi's build. Again, we see a very smart decision from him. So many Korean Olafs, they do go double Dorans into Ninja Tabby and Spirit of the Ancient Golem. But that's not what we're seeing this time, Doa. We are, in fact, seeing him go for that faster Shirelia's Reverie. And the reason why is because, again, we have this acceleration gate issue that SK Telecom has to cope with. So he adapted, gets the Shirelia, so they have that chase potential even through the acceleration gate. Very smart.
Yeah. Anything to tune up Olaf. Olaf has really become like the too fast, too furious champion. All these items, it's like, pimp my Olaf. How can you go faster? We really need like a...
Got some sweet rims on your Olaf?
We need like a Pimp My Olaf skin where he's like just got a bunch of like random like bling on him, you know?
I love it.
He takes off his hat and there's like a full surround stereo underneath it or something.
And look at this impact already with the needlessly large rod as well. Piglet is just spamming Laugh in the mid lane.
Why not?
Not a care in the world.
Yep.
You know, before the broadcast, while we were getting our makeup on, Piglet came in and handed me an SK Telecom train ticket.
He didn't know that you were already driving that train, I guess. And here we go, an easy Baron for SK Telecom. Not a lot of chance of that being stolen. Yeah, it's going to get taken down easily. And that is it. So now a recall, a buy, and then a Baron-powered push coming in to try to end game number 2 from SK Telecom K.
Yeah, Faker being a little duplicitous in that bot lane. Whoa, he's going in!
Faker doing it! Trying to get on the pony, he gets it! Trying to get away, there's that Living Shadow. Wow, Faker goes where he pleases, man.
Well, and right there we can see actually the difference that the changes made. So the Shadow goes where Zed was now, and so since that change exists, he was actually able to get out of that situation by popping back over the wall and then using his Living Shadow to get even further away. So we can see how these players are going to adapt to the Zed changes right now, and it allows you to do tricks like that where you pop in somewhere and then pop out really, really quickly.
Very, very cool. Very LeBlanc-esque as well, actually.
It is.
Yeah. And so now the inhibitor getting pushed by SK Telecom. Is there anything at all that Team NB can do to stop this?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
sorry for the anticlimax, though.
The Korean hype train is going strong, but the actual hype train has been completely derailed by Monte Cristo at this point.
What a jerk.
I've got hiccups, so it's time for the game to end anyway.
Well, the minion wave is pushing into this turret.
Right.
Piglet going in. That Wither's going to stop him
The nice thing
from
with
moving, but not going to stop him from demolishing My Little Pony with a couple of rockets.
the nice thing is that I'm not worried about my hiccups at all because Faker's so scary, man. They'll go away like nothing. He's getting scared right now. Here comes the Bearded Bullet Train running down the equalizer. A kill already for Impact. Make that a double. Piglet cleaning up a little bit as well. And just nothing at all. Man, it's very rare that I've seen a team die that fast. Oh, man, and just the trolling, the disrespect coming out from SK Telecom. And it's a Ring of War. It's not going to be able to really see that too often in Season 4. You've been surrounded by bananas. It's the Banana Cage. And SK Telecom takes a 2-0 over Team NB. Impact just like, yep, I was expecting nothing less.
Wow, and a great game from Bengi, 2-1-12 out of the jungle. With some
believe-
really good buff control and counter jungling early on.
I can't believe they put him in the Banana Cage.
You never.
That's going to become a solo queue thing now, man, if it's not already.
It's so rude to put your opponent in the banana cage.
That's right. It's not just bad enough that you're put in a cage in your own nexus, in your own fountain. Oh, he's busy. He's got a lot of writing to do. Oh, Faker. He's in there. Oh, no.
You put him in the
It's
panda
like,
nose.
next time. Oh, well. Long Panda's awesome. He's such a good sport.
He is indeed.
Faker's like,
a
well,
great personality.
You're going to need to write my name in there like a million more times. Who's that? And Youngie. Well, guys, Well, that went pretty much how we thought it was going to go, huh? Oh. Gun Panda. He's writing his own name in the Panda note. Why would you do that? He just committed suicide on television.
They'll have to censor that out in the
I
box.
guess so, yeah.
All right.
They put the camera back on him now, and he's actually a panda. He's like bursting out of the booth. A victory for SK Telecom. T1K